You got to unteach the doctors. Most doctors have these diseases. There's a doctor friend of mine. Most of her patients, she reversed her multiple sclerosis. She has most of her patients are doctors. Just tell them you'll miss heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, fatty liver disease. You'll miss your child, seeing your child go through potential health issues, and you were part of that process. You'll miss the guilt of that. You'll miss those things instead of missing a hamburger.
Welcome to the Informed Choice Podcast, where natural healing meets practical truth. I'm Eni, the Naija Goddess, and this is where we simplify holistic wellness so you can stop guessing and start healing. Today's guest, we are about to meet someone who's on both sides of the battle line. One foot in community grief, the other in systemic change. She's known to many as the Vegucator, Dawn Hilton Williams, but she's so much more than a wellness coach. She's a playwright, a food justice warrior, an author, a legacy builder. She's walked through the darkness of losing 3 grandparents by the age of 14 to illnesses that run through families. She's lived in neighborhoods where grocery aisles aren't just a place to pick up food, it's a battleground for your health. She holds credentials from T. Colin Campbell Nutrition Studies, E. Cornell, pens the Vegucator column for Pride Magazine Charlotte, and has her books Flavor My Plate and Flavor My Plate Kids Edition, the only color, cook, and care guides of their kind in the United States. Her leadership has earned recognition from Beyonce's Be Good Foundation, and she steered Herban Eats and co-founded Power is Giving, building bridges between whole food, equity, and education. Her work has also been lauded by vegan trailblazers such as Miyoko Shinner and Dr. Milton Mills, just to name a few. But she didn't start in kitchens. She's also been in theater, writing, creating, and telling stories. That background and narrative means she sees food not just as fuel, but as story, as identity, and as resistance. Today's topic, the grocery store is a battlefield, that's not a metaphor, it's literal. When access, pricing, and cultural relevance are controlled by systems, the average person pays in insulin, in heart disease, and in missed life. Dawn is here to expose that terrain, to share strategies, and to spark power in every plate. So this isn't a casual health chat today. It's a call to see where we have been constrained and where the fight for access, dignity, and wellness is happening right now. So please welcome Dawn Hilton Williams to the show.
Thank you.
Hey, Dawn.
That was a great introduction. I don't know if I can live up to all that she said.
She's already done it.
I guess. But thank you for having me here. It's an honor to be here.
I'm glad that you're here. Thank you so much. Well, we'll kick off with the first question. When you say the grocery store is a battlefield, what does that mean to you?
Well, the grocery store is a battlefield because you have to draw, there are lines drawn. And the lines that are drawn are health, wealth, or health poverty, right? So the grocery store is a battlefield on what you choose to live your life and how you feed your family. And you have to decide which life you want to live and which legacy you want to leave behind.
That makes sense. So what experience opened your eyes to how food companies target communities?
How food companies target communities? Well, they it's very direct. From we can go back to all the pieces of community. It's always been a racial issue. How they target is they put colorful boxes of cereal. They put Snoop on a box of potato chips. They put, I'm just being very direct, and in our communities, they put things that are colorful, popping, and fun, but are harmful for your health directly in line sight. And they put it at kids' eye level. So the colorful sodas, the cereals, the pops, and anything that's unhealthy candies are right at kid level. And they do that in all stores, but it's particularly in food deserts and food apartheid communities. It's prevalent all over the store. It wraps the store. It wraps the aisles. It wraps the end caps. So
And you believe that's intentional?
well, yeah, because we're the number one consumer, and we also lead in chronic disease. So we're the best customer. So yeah, it's intentional if you're trying to raise your bottom line. So yeah, it's definitely intentional.
How do processed food companies specifically market to Black and brown communities then?
How do they market? Through the same way they market through social media. Wherever your eyes pause is where the algorithm's going to recognize. It's not just what you click on; it's where you pause. So they see what we're looking at, and they know that we're in communities where there aren't a lot of grocery stores and there's not a lot of access to healthy foods. And even if they were, we've gotten out of the habit of eating it. they know what to put where.
Right.
And then they hire celebrities to forward the message that this is cool to eat this. This is fun. This is good. And because their favorite celebrity or their favorite athlete is eating it or doing it or engaging in it, that means it's good.
Right.
And then you're going to put it right in our community because we'll buy and support that brand.
Well, for listeners and viewers who may not know, explain what a food apartheid or food desert is.
So there's a difference, right?
Yes.
So the food desert, if you're within 10 miles in a rural community of a grocery store where there's access to healthy produce, fruits, and vegetables. If you're in an urban environment, that's one
And
mile.
she said 10 miles.
10 miles.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's convenient.
Yeah.
But if you're in rural, I guess they expect you to walk it like Forrest Gump. I'm not sure how that goes. But if you're in a urban community, it's 1 mile, which is still that's distance, right? So you end up taking a bus, catching a cab or whatever. You're not catching a cab anymore, it's Uber.
Right.
But I'm older, so I say cab. But a food apartheid community is a systemic oppression that led these situations in these communities to these disadvantages, right? Like you're intentionally corporately disinvesting in a grocery store there because you can sell more of this product if you just have a discount store.
So an example of that you can speak to?
Like I'll not those I guess Dollar Generals, I should not name that particular brand because it's more than one. There's Dollar General, Dollar Tree, there's Family Dollar, all those kind of stores. Those stores are particularly in communities where grocery stores have left that area.
Yes.
They used to be there
Yeah.
when the neighborhood, but when people like to live in the urban community, and when people left and went to the suburb, white flight happened. Then that's when we came back to the cities, right? And that's when the grocery stores left. So then you have these big boxes in these areas where they're, I guess, the shopping centers, and in the shopping centers now they place discount stores, and those stores are littered with foods that sell well to us, so it's intentional. So that's food apartheid because you're not gonna find an apple in there.
Mhm.
And not that you wouldn't necessarily eat it. You might not eat an apple, but you certainly aren't gonna eat an apple if it's not there, right? You're gonna eat the apple pie tart, the Miss Debbie.
The apple pie
Somebody,
filling.
Debbie and them. I don't know.
I said apple pie filling they have for
Yeah.
70 cents a can.
Right. So the apple pie, then you have that. So food apartheid is when the system is ensuring your disadvantage strategically based on what they can do and where it's best for them to leave money or following corporate capitalism versus following what's fair in a society.
So what do you think about the counter argument to that? We're saying we're not de-investing on purpose. It's like the sales weren't there, so we're just going to serve the needs of the community for the customers that are going to actually support the store. What's your
Right. So I have two
response?
thoughts about that. This investment. No, the sales aren't there, but also just because the sales aren't there doesn't mean the access shouldn't be there because it should be equality, right? And if you're talking about equity and equality, it should be there whether the sales there or not. It should be there because the access needs to be there. So on one hand, I understand corporately
Right.
why. Okay,
If
this
it's not
make
making money,
you
they
got to
can't
pull it
sustain
off the
it.
shelf, but you also have the other side of the thing where it's 4.7 trillion dollars in healthcare costs that we're all paying an aggregate amount of, which you're paying for that. So corporates might make money if they leave, but the healthcare goes up for everybody, right? And then death and disability goes up.
Yeah.
So it's not everyone's paying. So corporate is not paying over there, but communities and people in our communities are paying, whether you're in the community or not. You're paying the aggregate of cost of healthcare.
Is there a win-win solution for that where the businesses could make money and the people could actually want to eat and make the money for for those grocery stores?
So I think that there's always a win-win. You can always find a win-win. The win-win wouldn't be it's you got to do education though.
That's why I said
So if you don't do the education, we forgot anyway. We forgot about how to, even if you built grocery stores all throughout food apartheid communities, there's no guarantee that anyone's going to go back to the way it was because there's this myth that it takes a long time to make the food. It's more expensive, and even if it's not more expensive, you don't have the time. So I just get this prepared um, faux product. This it's not food; it's a product. I'll get this product because it takes 90 seconds versus make the 20 minutes of rice,
right.
right? So you got to retrain the community to our community to re-embrace what we used to be as good ancestral food folk.
The great unlearning.
The great unlearning. The great unlearning. And the saga continues, right?
Well, you touched on this in the opening about food placement, and what ends up in our cart. So I know you mentioned something about how things that are not healthy and colorful are at eye level for most consumers or at the children's eye level.
Yeah.
So how can we fix that? Because if that's what sells, then that's what they're going to keep promoting, right? How do we compete with a box of Fruity Pebbles at kid level, right?
Right.
Compared to, say, the apple? How can we make the produce section at large more appealing? How does that work? How do you think that could work?
Well, so here's the thing. Do you really think Fruity Pebbles is bought for the kid? The kid isn't okay. The parents are buying the food. Kids they don't have money, right? The parents are buying it for their convenience or their sugar addiction. One or the other. So we have to retrain the parent. You can't change the grocery store and what they're going to put where. You got to change the buyer and what they think about when they're going in the store with intentionality. And you gotta and parenting. I'm 57. I have 2 grown kids. If they want to, people eat. They're grown. But when my daughter was 7, I have bonus kids. One bonus. So when my daughter, as when I was a single mom, and I brought her in the store, and she was pulling for the candy, I was like, and I wasn't even vegan, and I wasn't whole food plant based. I just didn't like the candy aspect because it was everywhere. So I would just say no. Just say no. Nancy Reagan, whoever said that, just say no. Why would that be an option? Because the parent's going to get a Kit Kat too. The parent wants Kit Kat. The parent wants the chips, so they buy the chips for the house and they say the kid's eating the chips. But you're eating the chips. Stop eating the chips. Stop it. Just pick something else, right? So you have to retrain the buyer. And to do that, you have to have the conversation about giving them a why. They have to know it's bad. That's not enough. They have to know why it's harmful and how they can change it without losing money as opposed to saving money.
Yeah, I've had these kind of conversations in my cooking class and on the grocery store tours,
Mhm.
and they'll say, "Well, I won't get it for myself because I understand it, but I want my kid to be a kid. They should be able to enjoy these things that are ultimately harmful to their health and teaches them bad eating habits at a young age." So what would your response be to that? Because that's what I
I couldn't be on that tour. They would leave the store. Anyway, um, well, that's a very good point. I hear what they're saying, but being a kid has nothing to do with snacks. Being a kid has to do, when we were young, we ate snacks that were vegetables. We ate celery sticks with peanut butter. We ate apples. We ate food. That's not food. Takis are not food.
Lord the Takis
Doritos are not food. It's a food. It's a product. It's a product. If your food comes from, if it had to go through
machine.
a machine or it had to go to a plant to become a plant, then it's not a plant. If your plant had to go to the plant, then you should not be eating it. So I guess I would say to that, would you rather have childhood obesity? Would you rather have the gateway of poor health begin with those terrible habits with your child, or would you rather them be healthy? Why don't you make it fun? That's why I did the little kitty book,
Right.
because you make it fun to do the food with the kid. And we just got to spend more time. We got phones and it's made us lose time. We thought we saved time
You're right about
with
that.
technology, and as we've lost time. So we put more things in place of the empty space instead of time with family, which would have been cooking time, right? But then parents don't cook because there's so many places to go. But
And then the
it's also
convenience factor
unhealthy.
foods.
The convenience factor products is not food. Once it's holly, it's not food. If it's in a box and it's got a bunch of ingredients on it, it's no longer food.
I always tell our people, if you look at the ingredients list, if you can't go in the grocery store and buy every ingredient that's on that box or whatever, then
Mhm.
put it back because that means it's
Right.
ultra processed.
Right, right. So if it's not from the ground, if it's not grown from the ground, it's not grounded, or it's not something you can pull off a tree, or off a vine, then it's not food. It's no longer food. And if it's been modified, the nutrients have been depleted in the process.
Right.
So if the nutrients are depleted, then you're not getting the full load of benefit for having it anyway. And of course, you're not pulling cows out the vine or chickens or pigs.
Certainly not. Those
I
my
ate all
friends.
those things. I mean, they didn't used to be my friends. I used to eat them. And I'd feel guilty if I saw a chicken truck. I'd feel guilty. and then I eat them 3 days later. But it's been since 2017. It was really my why wasn't about the animal welfare, although that's very important. They are our friends. They have
They are
trolls. They're our friends. But we've normalized eating them and see them as steak versus a cow,
correct.
bacon versus a pig, then of course, that's why factory farms have no windows, right? Because you just detaching from the humanity of the animal. But taking that out of the way, and then this day and time, just the health gets people going because everybody knows somebody that has type 2 diabetes
Yes.
or has had a stroke or has had a heart attack or cancer. Everyone has a family member that's had that
Or an amputation.
or an amputation, particularly in our communities, right? Because it's 3 times more likely to be amputee if you're black and brown. So you had to bring it in context with what works. The grocery store doesn't work. The lack of a leg is more impressive
Mm.
to have a conversation. It's more not it's not impressive. It's more impactful than don't eat that snack. Well, because it's going to lead to cancer. You have to have health facts, and that's where in the vegan community we lack communication. We don't do a good job of vegans being educated. Huh. And when they're not educated, people are looking at them, and then they're having health issues, and then people are looking at them for facts, and they don't have them, and then people don't do it. They just go get a
I
vegan
think that it
burger.
caught sometimes in trying to swap whatever unhealthy foods they ate pre-vegan and making an unhealthy vegan version of it, and they
Right.
just focusing on that.
Mhm.
And I can understand for a time and place for certain people that need to transition, but it's ultimately still not healthy. But so that kind of leads to my next question about
Okay.
cost illusion and how making unhealthy foods look and actually be cheaper than actual whole food plant-based foods,
Mhm.
because there's always this notion that, well, I will be vegan or I will eat more fruits and vegetables, which is too expensive,
Right.
and it's a total misnomer. But what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, the question again.
So cost illusion, so things that
Cost
are,
illusion?
yes, the
The
cost.
illusion of cheaper, okay, because you do save up to $7,000 a year if you eat from the plant. But if you eat from the frozen food and you get some, Mission Impossible or Beyond, whatever. Okay, if you get any of those, they're gonna cost as much as it would if you'd gotten the actual meat,
Or more.
or more. But, what I think about it, I think it's, just, business. I mean, the business of veganism is, hundreds of billions of dollars. It has become a business, and it's mostly owned by people that are not vegan.
By
It's
the
owned
same
by the
company
same
shown.
corporate company that sells chicken.
Yeah.
Whatever those companies also have investment in the plant-based, vegan products. Um, as a business model, I get it, but as a health model, it doesn't fly. And the question around, the illusion of saying it's much cheaper to eat, and you can save up to $7,000 a year on a whole food plant-based lifestyle. However, even a lot of our vegan brothers and sisters are not
Oh,
doing that,
right.
right? They don't see that. So they're not seeing the cost savings, right?
Right,
They're
they're
not
saying that's
seeing the health
expensive
benefit. They're not
because
seeing the health
they're
benefit.
buying all the faux meats and, which are pricey, and everything's still very packaged and very processed.
Mhm,
If you spend the bulk of your time in the produce section
mhm.
or one aisle at the bean and rice aisle or something like that, that it is very cheap, very affordable, and it can last a long time and feed an entire family. So I think people miss that because they feel like, well, that seems boring. I don't want to just eat. They feel like they just eat salads, rice, and beans or something like
And
that.
I think we just eat salad, but also we eat loaded salads. Our salads are loaded with protein, vegetables, again, colorful. They don't wanna take the time. I don't know if it's their food. I think it's people don't wanna take the time to make the product.
I don't know if they don't
They
want to,
I
but
don't
they're
know.
used to the convenience
They're
model.
used to the convenience
Put
model.
something in the microwave for 90 seconds, throw this in the oven, or, the reheat in the air fryer type thing, but no actual cooking whole foods from scratch, as they used to say. I don't
I'm
think
not
that's
opposed
the
to the
thing.
air fryer.
No, I'm just saying, like, whatever frozen problem you got out, that's
Oh,
already processed, you
that's
throw it into
already
the air
okay,
fryer.
it's already processed.
Yeah, I'm saying they're not even
Oh,
really
they
using a
already have it
stove. They're
processed.
using a microwave and use like an air fryer to
Mhm.
reheat ultra processed foods.
Well, and you mentioned about the ultra pro you said you can see it as a transition food. I think it's dangerous.
No, 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 no.
No, you said I didn't say you did it.
Oh, no, no.
I said
I say is sometimes they're starting off by saying, "Okay, I ate say macaroni and cheese,
Mhm.
and I still want to eat macaroni and cheese. So now instead of making your own cheese sauce from
Right,
whole
Catherine's or Whole
food,
Foods.
right,
Mhm.
they'll go and buy ultra processed vegan
And
stuff
cheese.
to make it, so it's still not healthy. And they're doing it as a way initially to transition to see if they can still have that taste and flavor. And I'm just saying the great
That's smart.
unlearning needs
Yeah.
to happen. Right. Right. So because you don't need to think about it like that. Like I don't create recipes to say, oh, it tastes like chicken. It tastes I don't even think about the animal. I'm just trying to create a standalone dish. Now if you say it reminds you of chicken or whatever, then that's what you're saying. But that's never my intention. But I think a lot of people go into it trying to replace one for one what they were eating, and it tends to be just as unhealthy.
Right, and you'll see a lot of that on social media, on,
Mm.
the influencers on social media, they do that. And again, um, it's really difficult to get someone who's coming in only for the with a why of that. If you have a health why and you can start off the other way, you're not gonna think about that. But if your why is just, "I'm curious, I had a burger at that place and a double burger with cheese and french fries, and it was real good. Imma do that again. Imma get a milkshake," and you get all that. That's just again, you're swapping bad habits for another lifestyle that's still gonna kill you. It's just gonna take 5 years instead of the 3.
Yeah.
So you're gonna die. But anyway, I didn't mean it like that. I did. Sorry, not sorry. But anyway, it's just it's hard for when you're a whole food plant-based educator, like you and I are whole food plant-based educators, it's hard because vegans, we end up having 2 factions that don't agree with us. So we have the non, the non-vegans, and then we have the vegans, both of which argue that, it's not necessary to be this serious about it. But if it can reduce your risk factors by up to 90% for chronic diseases that are lifestyle driven, and it's the only one proven to do so, then that's the one we so we had to degrade education, you said? The great
The
re-education,
great unlearning.
the great unlearning. I say vegecation. Vegecate, time to vegetate, time to get vegecated. So, it's just that. The grocery store is just a labyrinth if you don't have a plan.
Mm.
And don't be hungry. Don't don't be hungry
At the grocery store.
because you're gonna buy the whole, and then you're gonna buy the stuff that's quick. You're gonna buy the hit peas. I'm calling out these brands. Yes, I am.
The
You're gonna
what?
the hip peas, HIPPEAS,
I don't know what that is.
because you're she good.
What?
Hip peas, they're like chickpea based snacks, but they're like Doritos and
Oh,
corn
I've
and
seen them.
they have the nacho cheese. I know because I used to eat them. I did.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll go to the store, I'll be like, look at those. But then that's when I'm thirsty. I'm probably not even wanting that. So why do they have you have to be intentional about your eating. And if you're at a cookout and you're out of town and that stuff is there and you're eating and you gotta eat something, I get it. But plan your day. Plan it. I mean, I gained more weight drinking lattes. Lattes are delicious. I have brown sugar vanilla is my thing that drives my
Like
weight. Don't do it. Watch it. Oh, with oat milk, of course. But it's not healthy because the oat milk has sugar, and then they're pouring teaspoons of sugar by the liquid, teaspoon in the bottom, and then you're drinking it like it's water. You really want coconut water or some type of
nutritious.
nutritive water or a neutral water or something. But I'm off topic. Go ahead. I'm off topic.
Okay, we kind of touched on this too, but what are the health consequences of these marketing practices in underserved communities? Let's be more specific about it because I know we've touched on amputation and in your intro, I was talking about, heart disease, how that's leading in America.
Mhm.
So when you're having these types of practices, this is what it leads to as a community. And then it's been normalized. Like,
Right.
oh, as you get older, you're going to get diabetes
Right.
and
It's
you're
a
going to have a heart attack and
Yeah,
a stroke.
because
And
my mom, because auntie had it.
right,
My
it
mom
runs in the
had it.
family.
Right, runs in diets run in the families. Right.
Right, lifestyle and diet
Lifestyle choices
run in the family, not the disease itself. That's epigenetics. You can turn
Right.
that switch on or off is based on your lifestyle habits.
Mhm.
If you're doing what your parents did or your family members did that got those diseases, then you're bound to get them as well. But it's not because you were
Mhm.
pre-programmed to get them.
Right. So you are so your DNA. So let's talk about epigenetics a little bit, just so everybody will understand what you said. Right. So epigenetics, they're the layer of the cell that tell you who you've been. Right. but they can be turned on and off like
Flip on,
switches.
flip off.
And you can watch Forks Over Knives and a documentary, watch that documentary for a little bit more of a deep dive there. But epigenetics um, do dictate things, but we don't get that far in the conversation to even get into epigenetics. So we have to talk about health and just that it's choice that makes a difference. And we
Right.
have to,
But people have in their mind, well, my dad had a heart attack, or my dad had prostate cancer, and his dad had prostate cancer, so now I have prostate cancer. It runs in the family. I'm like, you didn't have to get it necessarily. I'm not saying 100% of the time. I'm just saying
it's up to
in general, you don't have to get it. If you had the same lifestyle and eating habits as your predecessors, then yes, you're going to be more prone to do it because it's already in your DNA. But that's the
Right.
whole epigenetic flip the switch on, flip
But
the switch off.
but it can be on and off just like a little. However, even if you have it, it can be arrested and reversed.
Absolutely.
So that's the good news. The good news is, okay, you get it. Okay, what are you going to do now?
It can
What are you
go.
going to do now? Yeah, it can stay. You can get a seat and have it pull up to the table, or
I like that.
invite it to dinner and give it some sugar and dairy that it likes to eat, and keep giving it a chicken or whatever else you like to give it. Or you can starve it and let it die by giving it foods and then feeding the good cells the things that they need so they can go in there and fight and kill those things.
And I
So
think with
it's
these
just
pathways,
choice.
it keeps people trapped in cycles of illness.
Right.
And then it becomes a dependency on pharmaceuticals. And then if you look at the broader picture, it's a vicious cycle. So you've got the food deserts, the food apartheid, you have the lack of access, then you become sick. So now you're on pharmaceuticals and then you're in the hospital. And it's just this whole cycle where everybody else is making money on you being sick and not being your best self.
Well, so there's a challenge in all the different things you said. That whole cycle is normal.
It's
And
been normalized.
right. Well, it's it's normalized, and how do you destabilize the normalization of it? So it takes education. That's why. And to do the education, you got to unteach the doctors. Most doctors have these diseases. There's a doctor friend of mine, Dr. Sarai Stancic. Most of her patients, she reversed her multiple sclerosis. Uh, she has most of her patients are doctors, right? And they didn't know because they don't teach it in medical school. But who do you look to for food of nutrition advice? People that don't take anything but Krebs cycle, how food breaks down in your body. And you're going to people that don't know, they're going to tell you what they like personally.
Right.
And you can't ask the oncologist because not because they're not good people, but because they don't know that. They have no idea. They only know the radiation and they only know the therapies they
The
know
tools that they have in their toolbox.
because they manage disease. They're not in the business of solving or resolving issues. And if you're not you're in disease management, then that's all you're going to know. Okay, you have this symptom, here's a pill. You have this injury. Now, if you got a broken leg, I'm going there to the doctor.
Absolutely.
But I'm not going there if I have a cold or
I'm not going there for health and wellness. I'm going
Right.
there for acute
acute care.
acute care that's immediate emergent type of care. Yeah, it's not for that
Even
for
in
sure.
Europe, they have doctors go to the house and they clean out your pantry.
Well, the
Right.
main
They
thing
have
is
a
here
and they even come home. They do home visits.
in the
So
12 years of medical school training in the United States, they most places get 7 hours or less of nutrition education throughout that 12 years. So
Mhm.
you can't go and ask your doctor about should I eat this or should I eat that because they have not been trained in that unless they've taken extra care to learn about that. But they don't even get trained on nutrition, the power of food as medicine because they've learned all the pharmacology. So that and I'm speaking from a person who's currently in medical school, they do not teach that. So
But there are 20% of medical schools do teach a single course of nutrition.
single
20
course
But just 20 hours over the duration
out
of
of
years.
12 years.
Yeah, but they do have lifestyle medicine at Atrium. Like they do have
Lifestyle
lifestyle
medicine
medicine
is
practice,
different.
and they make there is a first year if you're at a college medical school where they have a first year program there they have lifestyle medicine. They will provide you a introduction into that.
An introduction.
Right, but
Yeah.
again,
It's
we
still
have
which
we
is
have
better than the average. It's
right.
still something.
What we have to do is find the rainbow in the rain, right? Because we know what's broken about it. Where can we partner and find ways to fix? They don't know, and I think when they find out, they'll do something. They have medical journals. You're a medical school. They're medical journals. I have numerous. I have 60 doctor friends. They don't look at them because they have to work and they have to get their CEU hours and they have things they have to do with their practice or in their individual practices or hospital systems. They work 12-hour shifts. They're tired. They're not going to look at JAMA to see what JAMA just said about how avocados are going to do reduce risk factors or what's going to happen if you eat, reduced intake of meat and dairy. They'll hear about it in passing like anybody else would. So we also have the responsibility to kind of retrain the doctors. But they didn't learn any of it in medical school.
Correct.
Not any of the ones that you know on these shows learned any of it in medical school.
Right.
And they'll tell you that. But it doesn't mean it wasn't peer reviewed or evidence based. They
Correct.
just learned it outside of their discipline.
Their curriculum.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that.
Mhm.
Why is food literacy as important as reading literacy when it comes to survival?
No, because it's life or death. It's life or death is what you put at the end of your fork. So, or your spoon or your knife. So, literacy of any kind, education, just mindlessly eating or not having an understanding of what you're putting in your body is like a car, right? So if you have a car and I keep putting diesel gas and I have a regular engine, eventually it's going to break down
Yeah.
and the car is going to stop running and it's going to be on the side of the road dead. There's no difference in the this is a vehicle and food is data. Food is information. The food goes in and it goes in the body decides, I don't know what this is. We're gonna put it over here. I'm gonna have the fighters go over there. Or it's gonna say, oh, this is really good. Let's go down here. And it's gonna soothe and bathe the microbiome. So you gotta be aware of those choices. But to be aware of them, you gotta be educated. So the literacy is just as important. But the problem is where you get it from. You
Right.
go online and there's so many different people that are saying so many different things. So you have to vet who you're listening to. If they can't tell you the study or the and it's got
Yes,
peer
peer
review
review.
study, if they can't tell you where the study came from and they're just quoting somebody, Dr. So and so, I don't care who you are.
Randomized, placebo
And I don't
controlled.
care if you're a doctor. It's gotta, and you're not always gonna get that kind.
But that's
That
what you're
type of
looking for.
study. You can't get a double blind because the reason you don't get a lot of the double blind ones, the top tier studies with us is because it's immoral to give one group things they know they'll kill them, humans. They don't matter if it's an animal, and then to give the other group things that'll save them. So that's why you don't have a lot of those particular kind of studies. But there are other studies that are reputable and high ranking. You're just not gonna have a lot of top tier double blind double blind, yes, but just it's a funny thing. It's not as easy.
Know what type of study it is.
It's gotta be peer reviewed and evidence based, and, it can't be industry funded. That's why peer reviewed matters. When it's industry funded, you're gonna get what the industry needed to get out of that study, and, it seems like a lot to know that, but isn't your health worth it? Isn't your
It
life worth
is.
it to know?
And I feel like some people might feel like that could be a barrier because, like, they go and read a study and it can be written in a different language, it seems, because you don't have that. You're not in medical school. You're not a doctor. But I say now we live in an age of AI. You can run it through because I don't think you should just read the abstract. I think you need to actually read and understand the all the variables of the study and see what the actual outcomes were and what did they leave off the table from.
Mhm.
That's all information you need. But you can always take a PubMed publishing and run it through Claude or ChatGPT and then ask it to summarize it for you in plain English so you can understand. So we're at this age now where it's not out of reach for people to see and have more information about these types of studies.
Yeah, but so I agree with you for those who are educators like us. But I would say the average Joe is not going to do that. So this is what they can do. This is what you can do if you're not going to do what she just said. You're not going to PubMed, you're not going to NIH, you're not going. And
That's the only ones that count.
listen, she wants you to do that, but let me tell you who already did it for you, and it'll give you a clip in 3 minutes. Dr. Michael Greger. So
Yes, nutritionfacts.org.
Okay. So if you go to nutritionfacts.org, you don't have to um he's already done the studying for you. And he's evidence-based, peer-reviewed, he
I
has a
love that.
team, he's research filled. Him and Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, PC
PCRM,
dot
Dr.
org.
Barnhart. Neil
PCRM dot org, PCRM.org or nutritionfast.org. And if you do that, you have the links, the studies, and everything, and you don't have to do that, which we like to do
Yes,
because
I like
we just like to do it. But you're not going to do it. So
Yes.
And then the other person, who else does it? So and then Dr. Greger has a daily dozen, a free daily dozen that'll
Yeah.
give you your guide, a free dozen daily dozen app that'll give you your guide to help you to make the choices you need to make every day. And you can click on the food choice and it'll tell you the benefits of that food. There's a lot of super simple solutions.
I have a video on that on
A
the
lot of
channel if you want to see.
super simple. Go ahead. Next question.
Next question. So for families who feel stuck,
Uh-huh.
what can they do to fight back against these industry tactics?
I don't so education is always the key. I mean, you can't fight. I mean, you're fighting City Hall. You have to be strategic. You need a team. To fight City Hall, you need a collective. To fight for your family, you just need one person in the family who leads that charge. You don't need collective. You just need one person to be interested in educating, and that person is the person that also feeds the family information, feeds the family food, feeds the family nurture, and that's usually the woman. Sorry, I mean, in some cases it's the man. My husband had a health scare. That's how we got into this lifestyle in 2017. So I just went immediately and threw everything away. I'd already seen Forks Over Knives. I changed our palate. I changed and he immediately went into it with that yes because he had a why, and I made the food. So you just have to. What can families do? What can people do? They can choose. There has to be one person in the family that chooses. You're fighting City Hall without a plan and a strategy and a group is difficult. But
Mhm.
fighting for your family is very easy if you really want them to thrive.
So I completely agree with you, and I think I had a similar experience here in my household.
Mhm.
But in from cooking classes, I hear, "Well, any you love to cook. I hate to cook."
You
Um,
hate to cook.
they'll say they hate to cook, or
Do you
my
did you
husband
say you
cooks.
hate to cook?
No, no, no. I said they'll say,
Oh.
"Any you
Oh,
love
okay.
to cook, but
Okay, and then
I
they hate to cook.
but
Yeah.
they hate to
I've heard
cook."
that
Yeah.
many times in my kid when I used to do the mhm,
So
mhm.
what do we say? Like, I want to do better, but I'm not about to do all this and that. So what's a good first step to help families that are stuck? Maybe because we're not in the time where we can clearly say that women are in the kitchen cooking for their families. It's more of a grab and go mentality for both parents in the household. So what's a good first step? Instead of saying I'm going to run through the Chick-fil-A drive-through, or I'm going to go buy this frozen meal, or I'm going to, what are some good first steps that people can take when they know they need to do better for their families that they can do to at least put their toe in the water to get it on a healthy track?
Okay, so you can go the first thing I would do was education. So education always goes back to education because they're vegan kickstarters, right? Like pcrm.org has a 10-day free vegan kickstart
They do.
that gives you all the recipes on there. There are lots of influencers like that, but they'll have other resources on there as far as
Dr. Montgomery's has one.
Dr. Montgomery's page.
Mhm.
Rest in peace, Dr. Montgomery.
Yeah.
We loved him. Um, uh, I mean, what can they do? First step, choose. You have to find a why. See, they won't do it. They love what you did. And when I used to do meal prep, they say, "Oh, if you make my food all the time, I'm gonna do this." And then if I stop doing it, I've handicapped you because you don't have a why. So when I stop cooking for you, you're gonna go back to the behaviors you had before. So I used to leave an education sheet on the bottom of the menu when the
Oh, that's a
reheating
good idea.
instructions.
Yeah.
And when I did that, it was only a half a page. And then I also on everything I'd put like the nutrient benefits. So I would try to trick them into learning. To customers into learning, but that didn't always work. So you just have to they have to be vested. They have to know that they don't have to suffer the fate that their grandmother suffered or their grandfather suffered, that their fate is their own, right? And they had to have a why. Most people don't come to this decision until they have a health
A
scare.
very strong why, yeah.
Right. I didn't do it. I was still eating all the animals and I was on chefy. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't stop eating it because it was terrible to do it, but everybody else was doing it. I stopped it because it was killing. I didn't want to die that way. I didn't want to die because of something I was choosing to ingest. And it also caused harm, and it also harmed the environment, and it harmed animals, and it harmed the person. That's who's eating it. This is a lose-lose and then lose. I didn't want that. So once I found out I can control that, and I had some sway in making a change, then that was my why. That was easy for me. I didn't want to wake up to a dead husband in the bed beside me. My husband, I found my father that had passed away. I found him in a, and died, he did die from a heart attack. and I found him, and I didn't want to find my husband. So because of that, I had a good why. You got to have a why.
And that's
And
what keeps you motivated when you're trying to when you see things you used to eat, you might want that why will keep you moving forward in the right direction.
the craving goes away. It goes away. I mean,
Yeah.
the first week I was plant-based, I smelled Arby's. I'm telling you, I used to like this Arby's roast beef. I did it. I'm not gonna lie. See, people don't want to tell the truth and they come on the show. Listen, I used to like the Arby's beef and cheddar, and I used to get it with the curly fries and a medium diet Dr. Pepper. Fat, terrible, terrible. I wasn't listen. I ate it, and I thought, and I put the little Arby's sauce on it. I have no interest in it, but when I first became vegan and I had a why, I smelled it, and I would smell it going down the street because I wanted it because I was in addiction. Right, I was in addiction, and it was still calling me, come back to the drive-thru. I never went. Once I went, I never went back. But after about 5 days, that went away. It literally went away. And I didn't start off with the faux meats. I started off with quinoa and lentils. I started off on the health kit because I started off through whole food plant-based nutrition training through the Cornell program. Therefore, I started off on the right foot, and I was already a caterer. So I had access. I had to throw away all the stuff for myself. And in 30 days, I lost like 99% of my customers, and I had a whole year to do research. But that being said, it's okay to have the cravings and that kind of thing, but just don't succumb to it, and then 5 days will go away
5 days.
or less. But they'll go you won't smell it anymore, and it won't even affect you.
How can people on a budget feel like they can make plant-based meals doable without feeling like they're giving up something or losing their culture?
Culture. And it's ancestral food. So you're actually going back to your culture,
Right.
right? So you're not
Pre-colonization.
right, yeah, you're going back to the cultural foods that even in soul food time, before well, there was pre-slavery. Right. We always were ancestral eaters, right? And so you're not giving up anything. It's just a matter of knowing how to nuance and cook. Like, there are just so many foods. There's cabbages, everything, the peas, all of this was us with the things that we brought here. In our hair. We brought it in our hair, braided in our hair.
Yes.
Rice and things in our hair and peas and things. We brought these things. We cultivated in this country. What will they miss? They'll miss heart disease. Just tell them you'll miss heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, fatty liver disease. You'll miss your child, seeing your child go through potential health issues, and you were part of that process. You'll miss the guilt of that. You'll miss those things instead of missing a hamburger
Right.
or some kind of thing like that. It's not worth it. You just have to weigh the options. I think the question was, how do you make them feel like they're not losing something?
Yeah.
Because you're not losing something. You're gaining something. It's perspective. It's perspective.
That's the key.
Yeah. And then it's a why.
Right. What are some like go-to swaps that can instantly take a plate from processed to whole food plant-based? Go-to for you.
Go-to for me. See, it's hard for go-to for us because we eat all the things, right? All the plant. I go to the store and I see all the produce section. That's my favorite section.
Yes.
So it's hard for me to say that. But what's a go-to? I mean, if you like a tuna salad, I make a chickpea not so tuna salad. You just do it with chickpeas and you add everything else, and the dulce granules make it taste fishy. If you don't have dulce granules, get nori flakes. They're easier to access in the store. Um, that's a go-to quick appetizer kind of thing. But if you're doing lasagna is harder. I used to like, if it's fall as a hearty lasagna you're making, the swap is mushrooms for the meat, and the swap is you can do tofu for the ricotta.
Mm-hmm.
And tofu is protective against cancer.
Yes.
It's not tofu is your friend.
I should do a show on that.
We should bring me
We should
back
do
for
a show
that.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have it's the B receptor. And okay, remember this: A receptor, B receptor cell. B is protective against cancer. A is not. You're confused. Someone told you lies because there is no tofu lobby in Congress, and
Correct.
so therefore they can't even defend themselves from the dairy people that are telling you lies. So
It's always a quick aside because they're like, oh, it's too much estrogen, soy boys, and I said I don't want to get gynecomastia and all this stuff from eating soy. I'm like, that same person goes to Chinese restaurant, pours soy sauce over their food, They go and drink beers made from hops, which is even higher in phytoestrogens. And phyto means plant, which is 1,000 times weaker than even this human estrogen. It's just so many.
But plant estrogen is
It's
plant estrogen is
protective.
protective, and it goes to the B receptor, whereas, animal estrogen goes to the A receptor, which is, toxic and carcinogenic. So it's just a matter of knowledge.
And they're eating female cows with estrogen. I'm like, when people think that, especially men, they talk about it as an estrogen type of thing. Like, I don't do that because I'm a man and I need testosterone. I don't eat estrogen. I'm like, sir, you eat lots of meat and it's filled with hormones, and then you drink alcohol, and you do all these things that are very high in estrogen, and you're just not knowing that because you've been marketed to about how soy is so bad and so, anti-masculine and all that. So that's a whole.
Well, there's a whole short dairy. See, when she brings these things up, my mind is there's like, Wheel of Fortune, anyway, a lot of things are coming up.
Yeah,
But the bottom line is, you can always choose what's an easy swap was your question.
yeah,
Chickpeas tuna salad
yeah.
is a swap for, tuna salad. Black bean burger is a swap, or you can make a chickpea burger. You can make almost any burger out of a bean as long as you have a binder, and I use a binder as a flaxseed, right? Because it acts as a binder. And everything has no taste. Everything has no taste. When I used to eat the animals, they didn't have any taste until I put seasoning on them. And
Correct.
seasonings are vegan. Hello,
Plants.
spices, they're plants. You've never had a piece of steak or a piece of a cow, a piece of chicken, or any kind of pork that had a flavor until it was smoked, seasoned, or otherwise technique developed. Therefore, um, it's all about really the spices. So you can again, there's burgers, there's lasagnas, there's spaghetti you can make with walnuts. I mean, there're just too many things.
Yes.
It's too many things for this show. What we'll do now.
Well, if we could leave the listeners with one strategy they could win at the grocery store, in your opinion, what would that be?
One strategy to win at the grocery store: stay in the produce aisle
Mm.
and in the bulk bins. Save yourself $7,000 a year and thank me when you come back from vacation and send me the pictures.
And you have a cookbook, so they can also get your cookbook too and make some amazing recipes from there.
They could. Okay.
Stop
So
it.
I I
Talk
would
about both of them.
okay. So this one is one she's talking about. This one I did in 2019. There are several things that I do differently because when you do a cookbook, as you know, it puts you in a time capsule. So I in 2019 or 18 or whatever I did that, it was different. I changed the way that I make lasagna, and there's several things that I've changed since then. But it's still a good start. In the front of this book is like a mullet. It's got business. It's a backwards mullet. The business is in the front, and the food is just a bonus. But the business is telling you all the health news. It tells you about why what oil does. It tells you all the healthy things in the front of this book. But it's only like 4 pages, so you're not overwhelmed by it. So I like that about the book.
Mhm.
The recipes, I would say it's like a B plus, but I'm just being honest. There's some that are A, but overall it's a B plus. It's a B. It's a solid B plus. Now my kitty book, Get in the Kitchen with the Kids,
Yes.
and when you do this book,
My nephew loved the book.
you get to color, and you'll see it later. Just go to Amazon. You get to color, but you also learn Swahili. So this is how you trick people into learning Swahili. All the animals are plant-based in the book, and you'll learn a Swahili word, and you'll learn a positive Swahili word, and you'll learn recipes that you can do with your kids. This is for parents and kids to get back in the kitchen affordably. I like this book better, and it was 2025, and it's fun. And Dr. Milton Mills endorsed it. So if you like him, yeah, all that.
Love him.
hmm
That's fantastic. Well, where can people learn more about your work and all that you contribute to the community?
So I would right now, powerisgiving.org. I spend a good deal of my time at Power is Giving. I am the executive director and co-founder of that organization. And I would just go to powerisgiving.org.
What is Power is Giving?
Power is Giving is a nonprofit organization founded in 2016 that focuses on lifestyle education and movement, programs that provide free year-round services that focus on movement, lifestyle education, and cultural connection. So all of our coaches are Black and brown. All of our doctors are Black and brown. Everything we do is to culturally align with our community and to feed the community healthy options and to get us moving again because we have chronic obesity in our youth. and it's mainly because we're not moving. We're still in there watching TV in the house and playing with the games or whatever.
Right.
So it gets you back outside. We have tennis. All of our tennis coaches are from HBCUs, so we're very intentional. And those programs are year round and free for the community. So just go to powerisgiving.org and learn more.
Anything about Herban Eats?
Not really. Just look up Dawn Hilton Williams, but I would go to the Vegucator. I would go to the Pride Magazine's Vegucator. I get a free recipe in every issue, as well as a culturally aligned article on how to get back to your ancestral roots through whole food plant-based nutrition.
That's excellent. Well, I'm so glad that you're here today. I think we've had a very engaging first conversation.
Mhm.
Maybe we've worked up a little bit of an appetite. So we're going to transition to our
Yes.
cooking segment right now.
Time to eat.
Okay, welcome back to our cooking segment. Today we're going to do an Alfredo hemp Florentine. Now, Florentine, when you hear the word Florentine, you should think from a culinary perspective, that means spinach. But the word Florentine means from a part of the Florence region in Italy. So, and that means a dish that's created is going to have be a bed of spinach and normally either have eggs or chicken atop of the spinach when you see Florentine. But anytime you see Florentine, it means with spinach. So I'm actually doing the Alfredo hemp sauce recipe from my book, Nourished by Naija, from page 129. So we're going to just follow that, and it's super easy. You know, I love a good dump and go type of recipe. So,
And I think it's hard, and it's not.
It's not.
You get ready to show them. Show them.
Who's got time for all that? So here I have 2 cups of non-dairy milk. I'm choosing soy milk for this application.
Unsweetened, of course.
Absolutely unsweetened,
Flavored.
not vanilla.
Right. Not vanilla with sugar. 26 grams of sugar in it.
And then I have cut 4 ounces of filtered water.
Okay.
Then we'll add in our protein source with some cannellini beans or navy beans, whatever you prefer. If you use canned, it would be like maybe half a can, I think.
Mm-hmm. And you're using those because the texture. Tell them why you're using those.
This will be not only the protein for this sauce, it's actually going to thicken the sauce.
Right, it's a thickener and it's got fiber. So one thing you don't get when you eat animals.
No fiber.
Right.
And our other protein source is hemp seeds and our omega-3 as well, even though it's the precursor form. So
Very
this is
creamy.
1 cup of
Mm-hmm.
hemp seeds. And I love to use hemp milk usually when I make my own hemp milk.
And it doesn't have a taste. People think the hemp has a taste. Hemp taste is creamy.
They also think they'll fail a drug test if they eat hemp seeds, the hemp hearts.
Lord.
There's no THC in hemp hearts, so just so you're aware. So don't let that keep you away from eating something so nutritious and delicious. I'm adding in about 2 teaspoons of just Italian seasoning.
Okay.
Then I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of salt, but I'm using an herbed salt because I like fancy stuff. But you can just use regular salt, and always like a half teaspoon of cayenne pepper. We always need a catalyst.
So did you use like a French salt? What did you use? What did you use? You said
This one is a herbed. It's just called herbs sea salt.
Okay.
Then the other salt I have today that we're going to use is a citrus salt.
Okay.
Here. So we're going to add that to sprinkle to brighten it up. Then I have here about a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, which adds, again, more protein and B vitamins. And this is the non-fortified kind because I don't do synthetic vitamins, okay? So if your nutritional yeast is bright yellow, that's the fortified kind. You can go to natural health food stores or Amazon and get the non-fortified kind.
That's for another show.
That's a whole other show.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of onion granules. I actually ran out of them, so I just have chopped dried onion. And then this is not in my original recipe, but I'm going to add in 1 clove of garlic as well.
This will be very flavorful.
Yes. So now we're going to just blend this really quickly.
Mm-hmm. You didn't put any pepper yet. You're going to do that later.
Later.
Because I see the peppercorn. I'm jumping ahead. Don't throw me off the show.
She's a chef. She can't help it.
Just watch it.
Our sauce is done. Now in the book, because the book is a food prep book, this can store in the fridge for about 5 days. You can also freeze it for about a month. And when you want to use it, just put it on the stove into a pot. And that way you can have pasta sauce at any time. I like to pour it over baked potatoes. You see there's no extra like butters and stuff like that. You don't need it. You have flavor, you have protein, you have all your macros balanced, but you also have those micronutrients that I always like to talk about in our cooking segments. So all I'm going to do here is take our sauce and I'm going to pour in our pot.
See, that's not fair. I didn't get to taste it first. I need the bottom of that pot.
You taste the residual.
No, I've been liking it.
Go ahead.
Sweet.
That's your fork anyway, so.
At some point. I like to taste stuff. I mean, I'm not
Vegetator approved.
Vegetator approved.
All right.
Approval. Yeah.
And then also part of weekly prep is some pre-done protein. Well, this is actually protein pasta made with lupini beans. So one serving is 21 grams of protein and 9 grams of fiber. And what I like to do is batch the pasta for the week, and then you freeze it. And so when you just throw it in, it's already cooked. It takes no time. So this is something we also discuss in the book. So we're going to just pour this in there to get coated.
And you said lupini beans. Now tell me why you're not using the white flour and why you're using lupini bean. Do you want to get into that?
That's a whole episode, I think.
We'll do another show. Lupini beans is a healthier alternative. It is not highly processed, and it is minimally processed. It is processed, but it's not highly processed.
I could have doubled the pasta. So you see this sauce makes a lot because it makes 2.5 cups is the yield. And this is just 1 pound of pasta. So I could have easily made 2 pounds of pasta and double it.
Are you going to use this again?
No.
Okay, I'm moving another way.
So we're going to let this warm through. Actually, this is now louder. Let me switch to this side.
See if that'll make a difference. I know you all wish you were here. But you're not. I'll tell you what it was about. I'll tell you how wonderful it was. And yeah, it's just having a party.
Okay.
So seems like technology wants to get involved in the conversation.
Apparently. So what we're going to do now, the Florentine aspect, we're going to add this whole package. I think it's 10 ounces of spinach and let that just wilt down.
It's 5 ounces.
Is it 5? Okay. We're going to just let it wilt down. And make sure it's still green.
It is organic.
Always.
So
we don't put those things.
Leafy, because if it's leafy or it's thin-skinned or it's perforated like a lemon, you want it to be organic.
Always organic. And so it's really nothing to cook, as you see. It's really just heating it through. So by the time you get in your car and drive to a fast food restaurant, you can already have your meal prepared. And it's pasta, so it makes it a little bit kid-friendly. It travels well for lunch for work, and it's a great weeknight meal. Like I said, all your macros are in balance.
It's a good prep to take. It's a good prep.
So we're gonna let
so
this.
That you can put in your prep meal containers.
Yeah, the like bento boxes.
Yeah, your bento boxes.
So once this spinach wilts, we'll be ready to eat. We'll plate and serve. I will sprinkle a little bit of Italian flat leaf parsley on top. This is a non-whole food plant-based item. It's optional to just put a sprinkle of Parmesan non-dairy cheese on top just to brighten it all up. We'll put some lemon zest and maybe a squeeze of lemon juice. And like they do when I was in corporate America, we used to travel to Florence all the time. I had my software team there. And they often will put like crispy pancetta on top. They like to finish it with something very salty. So instead of that, I have some oyster mushrooms here that were marinated that will add that just as a little contrast and a salty pop.
Nice. So mushrooms, we could also have another show on mushrooms. I mean, you can get there's so many nutritional benefits and health benefits of mushrooms. The different varieties have different benefits. But again, you're not counting on the mushrooms to replace the meat protein. There's so much protein in hemp hearts. There's so much protein in the bean and the fiber and the nutrients and the phytonutrients that this is just like a textural piece. And there is protein here, but it's just a word for texture. And mouthfeel.
You hit the nail on the head, Miss Vegetator.
That's why they call me the Veggie.
Tell the people. Let the people know.
Let the people know what we need to eat.
Let the people know. And this sauce, why I like it too, is that as it heats up, it does get thicker. And when you put it in the refrigerator, it also gets thicker. But if you want it immediately thicker, like I said, you can either omit or lessen the water And that's why I like to use this type of corkscrew or fusilli pasta because it really clings onto the sauce. But typically when you get a Florentine, it's usually with like a linguine type of pasta.
Right.
And I just don't like it. I just feel like it just slides off. So I want my sauce to cling. So you see, that was not hard, it's not difficult, didn't take that much time. And these are all very affordable ingredients you can find in Walmart, Food Lion. You don't have to go to
lupini bean pasta in Walmart.
I actually got this lupini pasta from Walmart. I normally
She beat me.
I normally order it online in bulk because I do it for meal prep. It's from Walmart. It's in Walmart. Yep. They don't have all the shapes there. They only have the fusilli and the spaghetti.
Okay, but they have it.
But they have it.
So right in Walmart, you can get your healthy alternatives. Don't tell me they have a produce section when you first walk in. And then
Which I got that from.
And then she got the organic from Walmart and the lupini beans. And of course, the cannellinis and the beans you can get there for like 50 cents a can.
Now, I will say I'm a little bit on the bougie side when it comes to grocery shopping because as chefs, as vegetarians, I get excited going to grocery stores. Okay?
I do.
I can't wait for Wegmans to open up.
Oh my God.
I love going to grocery stores.
I go to grocery stores and I might not have anything that I want. I don't even have to be hungry. Like most of you, when you're hungry, you'll want to buy something. I don't have to be hungry. I'll see a vegetable and it'll inspire me to want to cook something.
Yes.
And then I'll come up with a whole meal.
Very inspirational.
Yeah.
And I like to go to different grocery stores because I know people shop at different places. So I might have my preferences here in this particular side of town that I live on, like going to Publix or Harris Teeter. But I know a lot of the people come to my class, they only go to Walmart, Aldi, or Food Lion. Right. So I go to all those stores to see what they have there and say, well, hey, at this store, they have the same thing they have at Whole Foods. And you don't have to think that you have to go to Sprouts or Whole Foods or Wegmans to get healthy food that's affordable. Like this box of pasta is very high in protein, higher in protein than soybeans, actually lupini beans. And it's $2.30 a box for a pound of pasta.
That's good. And the other thing is, the other place that you can go and still find some healthy things is even in the Dollar Generals and Family Dollars. You can find cans, and you're not going to find some of the lupini beans. You're not going to find those.
Maybe not.
Bean pasta, but you will find some things that you can eat. Black beans. You're going to find spices and things like that that'll help you on your journey, especially if you don't have access.
Especially.
So the zest versus
Go ahead and tell the people. Go ahead.
So when you put the juice in there, it's acidic. You're breaking down the food, and it's gonna break down every time. But if you put the zest, you get the meatiness, the oil. You get
the volatile oils.
You get the oil out of it, and then you get the big punch of flavor, because that skin has more flavors than the juice, and it doesn't have the bitterness.
As long as you don't go down to the white, the piss.
Yeah. Unless you just like to have a little bit of that, but who does? Nobody.
The white part is actually the bioflavonoid part, and that's where a lot of the health benefits are. So bitter is good, but in the United States, a lot of people just don't like to do bitter, but you should work towards bitter, especially if you have a sweet tooth. That means you're not eating enough bitter. You'll crave less sugar if you increase your bitter. All right, so I just added that to brighten it up. Now, before we eat and taste test, we're going to go to our herbal spotlight. So if you don't mind handing those 2 glasses there. Our herbal spotlight today is...
Spotlight. I'm going to hand you the other one.
Is
dramatic.
lemon balm. Now, lemon balm is an incredible herb. It's part of the mint family, and it has been used for centuries to calm the nervous system and to ease digestion.
Okay.
It helps support restful sleep, and it helps to improve focus. It has compounds in it that reduces inflammation and anxiety in people. So this time of year, because it's a perennial, so it starts to die off this time of year, so I don't have a live one to show you. But you can go to any regular grocery store, including Walmart, and get lemon balm tea year round. One box is like $2 or $3.
It doesn't have anything else in it?
It's just the lemon balm. And they do have a version with elderberry.
I'm looking at the color. So I was wondering if there's any other tea in there, because you made that.
I just made it. Yep. Okay. I had from ones I dried.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just lemon balm tea. Now you could add a sweetener if you want, but I think it's naturally sweet. It has a nice little citrusy flavor to it. And this is going to help cut the richness of the Alfredo sauce to pair well with our meal today. So I'm going to pour you a glass, and
the educator's getting served.
Absolutely.
This is a rare moment that I will cherish. It looks lovely.
So I'm going to, if you hand me your bowl, your tasting bowl. There we go.
You want tongs, or you good? You good with that?
Not yet.
Okay.
So we're going to get the Veggiecators honest opinion about
What are
this.
mushrooms?
So I'm just add it on, just one on
I
top.
want some mushrooms.
It's salty
One
now.
more. I want two.
It's salty.
I don't care.
Okay. And then a little bit of.
Let me get my fork. I'm eating this for you. It's not because I want it. I'm eating it because I know you want it, and I know you want me to tell you. Oh, you got to do the pepper. Please, thank you. See, she knows how to treat a chef. She knows how to treat a chef. People, y'all try, but this is it. Dinner party, table for 4.
Table for four.
Table for 4.
All
Okay,
right, so
you
let's
can
get
see.
her true reaction.
So I'm gonna do it without the mushroom first, because the first, I went this first. Let me just try this first, without the mushroom.
I didn't even taste it.
Perfectly seasoned. I taste the pepper. Pepper's coming through because it came through, was on top. Creamy. Flavorful. Delicious. What would I have done differently? A roasted garlic.
Yeah.
Other than that, because I want more of the garlic flavor, because I taste it. I just want the a little bit more of it. So I want either another garlic, or I want a roasted garlic, like 3.
Now, you all know me. I'm very heavy on garlic. Usually,
I am
in the
too.
last 3 episodes, I featured roasted garlic in the recipe. So I said, today, I'm not going to do a 4th show roasted garlic.
Roasted garlic's the best. It's sweet.
It is.
It's buttery and sweet.
And that's why I said, even in my recipe, I didn't even include garlic. I had to just put at least 1 clove in.
So I have to get one more bite. Hold on, guys. One more bite, because I'm getting a bite with the marinated mushroom. That's the one you all want me to have. This is the one I'm doing for you. Both of them are for you. So thank me later. Perfectly rounds out the salt of the dish. It was already properly seasoned, but it just rounds it off really well. And then I like that texture as well. So get an A from the veg care.
Oh.
And I want to eat some more.
Well, let's cheers to that.
Let's
Let's try our drink. And then while you're sipping on that, I'm going to do our last segment, which is the rapid fire questions. Cheers.
Cheers. Hold on, did you put orange peels in here? This is just a lemon balm?
It's just a lemon balm.
This is not sweetened?
Oh, it's just the lemon balm.
This is not, no.
It's just a lemon balm.
Let me see, you tricked me.
Oh. All right, I strained it already. That's why I went upstairs to do.
I was looking to peek, see if the chef was cheating.
No.
This is absolutely perfect.
It's a great compliment.
Sweet, because it's sweet. There's no sweetener in here. It's savory sweet.
I like teas that are
warm.
naturally sweet. So I like lemon balm tea because it has that natural sweetness. There's a little bit of citrus
I've never had
coming
lemon
through.
balm before.
Oh, really? Okay.
This is why I don't know.
Yeah, so it is naturally sweet. Like licorice root tea is naturally sweet. So that's another tea I like to drink, completely unsweetened, but it tastes like you add something to it. So I like those 2 teas. And then I also like, it's so easy to grow lemon balm. Like mint can just take over your garden. So it's something you want to actually grow in a pot.
In the herb.
Yeah.
The herb, but I never thought it would be
But
sweet.
you also put the leaves into your salads as well. So when it comes back around in springtime, it's something you can eat fresh, or you can dry and do as a tea because it's delicious and it pairs well with rich, creamy things.
Okay, y'all go ahead. I'm gonna get some more mushrooms.
So, Miss Dawn Hilton Williams, rapid fire Q&A. First thing comes to your mind. First aisle you go into the grocery store.
Produce.
Yes. One processed food you used to love but don't miss.
Grits.
Oh.
No, I'm lying. That's my husband. I'm gonna tell the truth. Processed food I miss.
You used to love.
Oh,
but you don't miss.
Tortilla chips. I used to love Cool Ranch Doritos.
Cool Ranch.
To tell the truth. Yeah, it was the bad. If you're gonna be bad, go all the way.
Go all the way. Yeah.
I was all the way bad.
Go-to plant-based ingredient you always have in your pantry.
Nutritional yeast and flaxseed.
Most misleading food label term.
Organic. Health. What?
Natural flavors.
Natural flavors.
For me.
Organic doesn't mean it's healthy. You can have organic and it be an animal. So, organic for me.
People have to understand what organic is. Yeah. Favorite quick plant-based meal to make in 15 minutes or less. Outside of this dish today.
Edamame salad
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
with calamatas and white wine
Her
vinegar.
edamame salad is very good. Um, if you could redesign one grocery store aisle, what would it be?
One.
Let's start with one.
I'm gonna drink my tea on that one. I want to do the whole store. The whole store should be like a farm. A farm. The store should be your pharmacy. So the whole store needs a revamp. I can't.
Pharmacy with an F? Yeah, what
one
what would you start with?
the whole store is a bowling ball. I rolled a bowling ball to the whole store, except for the produce aisle and the boat bins.
I would personally start with the cereal aisle or the soft drink aisle, and
This
start-
every aisle there's
major
a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's just it's like Nightmare on Elm Street, walking up and down the aisles. So I'm sorry.
One cultural dish that proves plant-based can be both affordable and powerful.
Oh, one cultural dish, Creole red beans and rice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. What do you tell yourself when you walk past the junk food aisle?
What do I tell myself? I don't even think about it.
So it's nothing. You're just like,
Yeah, it's not there.
it's not. Oh, you don't even notice it.
I mean, I notice it, but I'm walking through it to get somewhere else. So I don't care.
Favorite spice or herb you cannot live without?
Garlic.
Yeah.
Garlic. Garlic is the best, and onions. Oh no.
I would say
Uh,
Eru for the West African part, or I would say smoked paprika followed
Oh,
by
you talking
garlic.
about spice? Just about herbs.
Spice or herbs, whatever.
Paprika.
Yes. Favorite spice or herb? Mhm.
There's so many: coriander, paprika. There's cools and warms. So we
Yeah.
gotta do more deep.
It's true.
We gotta dig deep next time. No, I'm just gonna do what I said.
One word to describe how you want people to feel leaving the grocery store after hearing this episode.
Liberated.
That's a great one.
Liberated.
I'm so glad you all stayed and tuned in with us today. We're special thanks to Dawn Hilton Williams for joining us today and bringing her education and her wisdom to this episode. We'd love to hear your comments about it. And until next time, heal naturally, live vibrantly.